What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. And today, just going to talk about Candyman 2021 again. I did a non-spoiler review, and now I'm just going to go into some of the details of the plot, talk about some of the things that bothered me, some of the things I liked. I gave it a relatively favorable review, but all in all, I was definitely underwhelmed, a little bit disappointed in this movie. I thought that the third act just wrapped up way too quickly, and I thought that it just didn't have enough horror. And yeah, there was a lot of messaging in this film, and I thought, for a while I was okay with it, but by the time it was over, I realized, it was a little over the top, too much, and not enough horror to make up for all that. And you get a movie that's kind of more messaging than horror, and the original did a great job of being a very good balance, but all in all, it's definitely a horror film, a film that will scare you, a film that will go into your nightmares. This one definitely did not do that, at least not for me. But I'll go ahead and get into some of the details of this film. If you haven't seen it, this is going to have a lot of spoilers. If you want to go check out my non-spoiler, because it's pretty vague and you won't be spoiled at all. So, we have Anthony McCoy. This is a visual artist living in Chicago with his girlfriend, and he learns about Helen Lyle. Now, Helen is the character from the original film, so I like that there's already connections here as he starts studying and he learns about her. We're going to find out his connection also to the original, and that character was in the original, which is really cool. The original sequel barely touched on Helen, and it was just ever so briefly, but this film definitely, it has her voice. She's even back. Virginia Matson returns to voice Helen Lyle when he's listening to a cassette tape, or he's listening to a recording that she made, getting information on the Cabrini Green projects and everything that she found out, Candyman, etc. From his research, he thinks that she tried to sacrifice a baby and that the residents of Cabrini Green were able to save that child. Now, we find out later that child is him, which is another amazing connection, to be able to, the idea to take that baby, and he's now an adult, and he is the center of the Candyman sequel. That is a much stronger connection to the original than anything the other sequel gave us. So right there, that's what I'm talking about when I said I really love how this film connects to the original so well, because you've got Virginia Madsen back. Yeah, she's not there on screen, but her voice is back. So he's listening to her, and we find out that he is actually the child, and then we get to see his mother as well in this film. So we'll get to all that, but see all these connections, all these returning characters, just makes it for a much stronger sequel as far as continuity. And this is an artist, this is a painter, and so he's going to get a bunch of inspiration from this story. He feels completely inspired, and he feels like he has a purpose now as an artist, and that's huge for an artist. And then he meets William Burke, who is the owner of the laundromat, and he tells him the story of Sherman Fields, who was a man with a hook in real life. And this goes back to the intro. The introduction of this film was pretty cool. It takes place in the 70s, and that's when we see this Candyman, like a literal Candyman. He gives out candy to kids. He's a scary looking man who has a hook on his hand, and that's in real life. He has a hook on his hand. Isn't that that was odd? I thought that was like, what are the chances of that? Like the Candyman, the guy who's going to become one of, because there's actually more than one Candyman, as we learn here, which I thought was pretty interesting, but still called Candyman. Maybe he should have been called Candyman. That would have been a nice touch. He has a hook in real life. I don't think was the intention of, this legacy, this lore of the Candyman. The Candyman, when the Candyman is alive, he's supposed to be a normal boy. Doesn't have to be completely normal, but he's just supposed to be a man, a person. And it's his spirit, or his, in death, that's when he or they become Candymen, I would think. But no, this guy actually had a hook in real life. I thought that was just on the nose. That was just kind of odd. And if I say anything or have any criticism that there's a good explanation for, let me know in the comments. Let me know where I'm missing something. Just, I'm not perfect. I'm just giving you my thoughts when I saw it. That I just found that weird. So anyway, he goes on to show, his new art, and it's not terribly impressive. The art, directors and the critics or whoever's there looking at it are like, no, it's okay. They didn't love it that much, and so that obviously, wasn't good for him. That didn't make him feel good. But afterwards, some people who were there decide to, mess around, say Candyman 5 times in a mirror, and that's a mirror that was part of his exhibit. Okay, so they said a Candyman 5 times, and that's the first kill we get. And it's a quick just that hook just came and just sliced him open, sliced a girl open, and then later would kill the guy. And you can see that a nice effect of how you can't even see the Candyman unless it's in a mirror. So that's a pretty cool idea. And they like I said, the shots in here and the cinematography is all really good. So that was really impressive the way they shot that. And it was the first kill, and you would assume the first of many amazing kills that we were going to get in this movie. A lot of the kills are off screen, and it's a cool effect. You can hear, the horrible things that are happening, later on, but you don't get to see it, which is fine. Once again, if you're, going to be presented with some, and the whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking, dude, this is going to have an insane climax. And like I said in my non-spoiler, it just didn't, in my opinion. It was a cool climax that I thought was just getting warmed up. It turned out just to be a cool ending, but nothing, spectacular. But before then, there are a few more kills, but they just, there's a group of girls. There's one girl that shows a couple times, and we see her face. And we're like, okay, this storyline's going to involve her somehow. But it really doesn't. She just ends up, I think she's one of the girls that got slaughtered in the bathroom there when they call for the Candyman. They go in there, they kind of bully a black girl who goes into one of the stalls, and then the other girls go and say Candyman 5 times in a mirror. Candyman shows up and kills them. We don't see much gore. We don't see a whole lot. And that was that. There were some lines of dialogue and some things they said here during that scene that I found pretty cringe. But, it's a taste thing. Some people won't mind, so we'll move on. But Anthony now starts to, he gets stung by a bee at one point in Cabrini Green when he's doing his research. And that bee sting, it looks to get infected or something. It scabs up and it starts spreading. And okay, this guy's allergic to bees, I think. Okay, no. But this is pretty bad because, it's covering his whole hand and you can see it spreading and it's just jacking him up. And you get curious, like this is what I was talking about when I said I was really interested in this story. Like, what's going on here? Is this dude going to completely scab up and die? Is this dude going to become a monster? What does this mean here? What's happening to him right now? Is his hand going to fall off and a hook's going to start coming out? I don't know what's going to happen, but it's definitely interesting. And that's some of the body horror that comes with that. And, that's one of the cool elements of the film. There's so many elements I like in this movie. But then Anthony goes to see his mom. This is a really cool scene. I thought she did it excellent. She's from the original film. The same actress is back. She looks amazing, by the way. She looks like she's aged about a year. It's been a long time, but anyway, she looks fantastic and a really well done scene there. And she's awesome in this scene. Really good to see her back. More connections to the original. And, she explains everything to him. He's like, what's going on here? He mentions Candyman. And that's when, no, do not say that. And we get information from her that's interesting that she reveals to him, the truth about that we already knew, that Helen saved him from the fire and the Candyman was going to kill him. And she kept it a secret because she wanted him to live a normal life. That makes perfect sense. And that day, everyone vowed never to mention the Candyman, but someone blew it, as would be expected. That some idiot would blow it and get that rumor back out there, and the Candyman legend would stay alive. So his girlfriend goes to visit William Burke, who we talked about earlier. And Burke, of course, he is the guy who runs the laundromat, and he is the guy who knows about the legend of Candyman and everything. He's well versed in this, and this is where it gets really kind of weird also. Like, he has this insane plan that actually works. He's going to abduct the girlfriend. He is going to take the now completely deteriorating Anthony. He's going to put a hook in his hand. He was first going to saw his hand off in front of his girlfriend, put a hook on it, and then evidently he's going to call the police, who are going to come and shoot Anthony. No matter what, they'll shoot him on sight. That's just the plan. Oh, and that's not it. Once he's gunned down by police, then somehow, I guess somebody is going to say Candyman 5 times in a mirror, hopefully really quick after that, so that Anthony will get up, and now the new Candyman will be there to now seek vengeance for injustice. Really, on the nose, really kind of, heavy-handed, as they say. And sure enough, his plan does work, even though he gets killed by Brianna. That's the name of the girlfriend, Anthony's girlfriend, or wife. I think it's his girlfriend named Brianna. She's able to kill, in self-defense, kills William Burke. And, Anthony is just falling apart. He's pretty much done for. So he's wounded. He's jacked up. He is just gone. So he's on the floor. He drops to the floor. Looks like he's gonna die. He's in her arms. He's posing no threat whatsoever. Cops show up. Boom, 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 boom. Just freaking tear bullets all through him. I get it, man. I really understand what they're trying to, the messaging here and everything, but it was just unrealistic. And it's no, cops, that's what they do. No, look, yeah, I know that cops have gotten trigger happy all the time. I know it happens, but not to the point they just show up and the first guy they see, even if he's on the ground and clearly no threat whatsoever, they just start, filling him with lead. I mean, it just came across unnatural, and it came across as part of the message to send that cops are gonna just kill whoever, especially if they're black. You're done. They're gonna show up and they're gonna kill, because that was the guy's plan. That was Williams' plan, and it was just an unrealistic plan. But okay, fine. Once she said Candyman 5 times in a mirror, I'm even okay with all this messaging and everything, because I'm thinking that once Candyman now gets up, and I'm like, oh shit, William's gonna get up and he's now the Candyman. Does this make sense? Maybe not. I don't really get this. And then he has the face of Tony Todd. He has the face of Tony Todd now. Okay, and by the way, why didn't we get some more Tony Todd in this movie? There were opportunities to use his voice, but they did not. They chose not to. Tony Todd, the original actor who played Candyman with the booming voice, he's the key ingredient to this franchise. The only reason why parts 2 and especially 3 are any good at all, or even worthwhile watching. But anyway, he shows up with now Tony Todd's face. Don't know the explanation for how that is or why that is. But I didn't really care. I was like, okay, now we're going to get something, I guess. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know who he's going to kill. I don't know how this story is going to proceed. But it didn't proceed. That was it. That was the end. So it just ended. And again, we didn't see too much there. He just massacred every single police officer there. Yeah, he ripped apart all the police officers. I guess that was supposed to be the big moment, the big climax in this horror film, was just watching a bunch of police officers get whacked, get torn apart by the Candyman, and that was it. And so, you talk about an on-the-nose social messaging as far as this day and age, this movie definitely had it, and there just wasn't a lot of horror. It wasn't that scary, and it wraps up, and it happened so quick. It wasn't slow burn. It wasn't any cops that were developed that we would, grow to really dislike. We don't even know these cops. We don't even know them. They just showed up and started going boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we don't like him. We don't like him for that, but even the cop in Candyman 3 was much better developed, and we hated that mother effer. Would have loved to see the Candyman rip that guy to shreds, but instead Candyman just kills all these cops. And I'm not saying I feel bad for the police officers, because it's a horror film. I'm ready for people to get ripped apart and killed. That's what horror films are about. It's not real. But still, like, we didn't even, if you're going to do that and have this big important message, at least develop something, make a villain, a villain, if you will, apart from the main, Candyman, who we, can enjoy watching a little bit getting destroyed. But they didn't do that, and it was just kind of weird. It was just, I guess we're just assumed to hate police officers, and we're assumed that they see black people, they kill them, and so that message was very, very heavy-handed, and it just ended. And, all the great ideas are in this movie. All the connections to the original in this movie. It's so well shot that I still say it's a much better sequel than any of the other sequels. And it's a much better, companion to the original Candyman. But still, yeah, the messaging ended up being pretty heavy-handed. I was okay with it. I understand that social messaging is part of the Candyman lore. And I really didn't mind. Some of it was heavy-handed throughout. But I still didn't really mind, because it's the directors and the filmmakers want to put this particular message, which does relate to it's a little different, but it does relate to the message from the original Candyman. Okay, fine. But you still got to make a horror film. And I'm not saying they failed miserably at that, but I believe they fell a little short. Okay, that's just what I think they fell a little short, and it turned out to be a disappointment. And I didn't really sit there at the end of this movie like, no. I was like, oh, yeah, I say it was good, not great. I'm sticking to that. I think they gave it a 7.8. That's probably, I think more like a 7.5, 7.4. Probably best I can do for this movie. The more I think about it, the less I appreciate it, because I think they just went over the top with it. They just need to back up a little. Back up a little on your social messaging. Focus more on, get that balance right. But, this day and age, 2021, was a perfect opportunity for the filmmakers like this to say, hey, what's an old film we can actually put some social messaging in and actually fit somewhat, because that's what the legacy and, the franchise is about. Candyman, it was a perfect film to take and do that with. and they certainly did. So I think that they, accomplished what they wanted to with this film. It's not like it's so bad that it's offensive, like Black Christmas 2019, which is not a horror film. It's just a complete message. That's all it is. 100% message, 0% horror. This film is maybe 70% message, 30% horror, which is not, in my opinion, a good mix. That's just a quick estimate. This film, the balance was off. If you're gonna make a Candyman film, you got to also make a horror film, and I think the balance was off. And that's all I'm saying. So hope you guys understand it, and let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm off on that. Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Really appreciate everyone. Have a fantastic day. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. We're gonna talk to you next time.